Hello, I'm Penny, this is Penelope's Pitstop, this is issue 17, details for the inside of the cockpit.
For those who fought in the Battle of Britain, it was a battle for survival. For the free world, it was a breathless moment in history. For failure would have plunged mankind into a new dark age. Never have so many owed so much to so few.
Okay, so welcome to issue 17, details for the inside of the cockpit. So as always, let's look at the parts checklist. So part 1 is the cockpit detail, undercarriage control. Part 2 is the cockpit detail tank. Parts 3 is a sprue, and that contains cockpit details A to C. Piece 4 is the cockpit detail harness release. 5 is the signalling switch box. 6 is the cockpit detail de-icing control. 7 is the emergency undercarriage control. 8 is the oxygen control, and 9 is the de-icing pump. Right, so I'm going to do something slightly different with this issue. Every single stage is going to involve adding details to this wall, so I don't see the point with this issue to bring up the instructions. I will show you the part in great detail, and then we will apply it. If you are building this, then obviously you will have access to the magazine, so I'd like your feedback. I feel it does make the video unnecessarily longer. I don't mind making the longer videos, but obviously do you guys enjoy watching them? So see how we get on with no instructions. If it's something that you're enjoying not having, then I will just go straight into the build every issue. So let's begin with stage 1, and we need cockpit detail C, which is actually this one. Oops. And it's this silver piece there, and we will cut that off like so. Be careful not to cut too much off. Now that's going to go into that hole there. Let's get my cocktail pointy stick. That's going to go into that hole there using the tab there. Now there is a correct and an incorrect way. Do you remember before we spoke about an underside that's not covered in? So we actually want the detail, the flat side on the top, and I think I'm going to need tweezers for these because this is far too small for me to deal with. So you see how it's shaped? It goes up and then comes down. You want that top side up, and we'll do a test fit, and it's going to go in like so, like that, so you can see it from above. If we put it in the other way round, it wouldn't look right. So it is a very small fiddly part, so we will have to make sure that's glued in properly. So if we glue it in what I say is upside down, you can't even get it in. It just looks odd. So it's going to go in that way. So there's our test fit, and this time I'm going to apply the glue to the part. So we apply glue to the pin, and then just to the surrounding area, just where it's going to make contact. And I think I put a bit too much on there, so I'm just going to wipe any excess off like so. There is this creates a ball. I've been using this for various issues and various other part works, and it just creates this lovely little ball going around the cocktail stick. So that's why it looks like there's way too much glue on there. There we go. So that's stage 1 complete. That's part C. It's only a small detail. I'd like to bet that most people who look at this model, they won't notice that part on its own. Obviously once you've got the whole thing built, but it's just one of those lovely details that just sets it aside. So the next piece that we need also comes from a sprue, and it's this. It looks like, to me it looks like a bottle, or you know, like a tank that's been strapped in. So it doesn't tell you what this piece is. It tells you what quite a lot of these pieces are, but these 3 pieces on the sprue, it doesn't tell you. So I can see that there's a tab on the back, and that's going to go in there, and it doesn't look like there's a right and a wrong way round. Obviously that's going to be the front, and that's going to be the back, but I can't tell if it goes that way or that way. I suspect it doesn't make a difference. So I'm going to hold that with the tweezers. Make sure that when you hold it with the tweezers, you see that I've got the tab is pointing out further than the end of the tweezers, because if we had it like, this is obviously extreme, but if I had it like that, you can see that the tweezers are going to block and I won't be able to get the part in. So we need to get that right on the end of the tweezers, like so. And I can probably dab that into the glue. And I forgot to test fit. And you know what often happens when I don't test fit, but I've got away with that. No, that hasn't gone in properly. Okay, I can see now there is actually a correct and an incorrect way. This is slightly sloped. So test fit this, please, if you do it. If you put it in upside down, and there's no way of knowing which is the right and the wrong way, but if you put it in the wrong way, oh, I see now actually, it's a little bit late to tell you this. The left hand side, as you're looking at it, is slightly bigger than the right hand side, and if you put the this side on that side, i.e. you turn it upside down, there's not going to be enough room between that and the connector. So do please test fit before you do anything. So the next part is 17.4, which is this piece here, and this is did they tell us what 17.4 was? I know they did tell us. Unfortunately I've got to turn between pages. So 17.4, this is the harness release, and that's going to go across there, where that little tab is there. So we are looking for, okay, I can't see how that's going to fit. So 17.4, check the orientation. A rectangular hole at the left hand end fits over a tab on the framework. Okay, so of course, right, so we have the little tab there, and we have, and that actually looks like a screw hole, but it is actually a rectangular tab. So we do a test fit, and that is going to fit. Let's use the blunt end of my cocktail stick. The cocktail sticks that I have here are actually pointy on one end and flat on the other. They are absolutely brilliant for modelling, because you can use the 2 different ends for different purposes. So that's gone on quite nicely. So I'll just put a dab of glue onto the pin. This is a very tight fit, so we need even less glue, because what's going to happen is as we put this piece on, it's going to squish that glue down. So as long as contact is made where the glue is, it will then stick that down. and we have this lovely black pipe running across. So give that about 5 seconds, and what I'll do is I'll give it a gentle tug. Yeah, that's not coming off. So stage 4, we are looking for a box, which could be this one. So we're looking for a hole on the top, and then a sticky out nodule just to the left of it, and that's going to go on the same panel as this tank. At the bottom there's a tab there, so there's the hole just there, so that's going to go into there. Beautiful fit. So a lot of this surrounding area isn't going to be seen, so I can put quite a large dab on there if I want, and it won't be seen. And I could put some on the flat side of this little box. We'll see how this goes. And that doesn't, there we go, it didn't feel comfortable, a little bit loose and wobbly, so I gave it a bit of a wibble and it just kind of fell into place, and that is in place now. So be careful, I've just got a little bit of glue on my fingers, so I just want to make sure that glue dries off before I touch any other part, otherwise you end up with glue fingerprints all over the place. So the next stage is 1701, which is this piece. Whoops. And that requires one extra piece. You see there's a little hole there, and that requires this piece in the middle here, piece A from the sprue. So basically, if it's got a number, it's going to be a separate piece like this. If it has a letter, it's going to be a piece from the sprue. And this is extremely fiddly and small, so that's going straight into the tweezers, and the tab there is downwards. Now this piece, let me just move this around so you can see it. So we have completely filled in there. On the other side we have, it looks like some kind of detail perhaps drilled out. So what we actually want, we get this in the correct orientation, and we'll use the colours as the orientation. We have the green bit, this big green bit on the left, we have the black in the middle, silver on the right. So now when we stick this into the tab, we want that little hole to be visible, so it's going to go that way, and that's quite a tight fit, which is rather good. So that means we just want the tiniest amount of glue, and we just put that into the hole like that, and then remembering that we want that little hole visible, that can go in there, and it looks like it wants to stick before it's gone in. So there we go. So I can also see there's some writing on there, but that's far too small for me to read, I'm afraid, so that's fine. Right, so now this piece that we've just made is going to go onto this circular bit there, and you see you've got a notch cut through the middle, so I suspect that's significant. And on the back of this there's a line, it goes straight across, so that means that we'll be able to fit this in one of two positions. So there is position, right, there is one position, and I have deliberately put that in the incorrect position. The other position is a 90-degree rotation, and that's it there. And you know when you've got it correct, because if you look at this with the bottom at the bottom, you will have the big silver piece pointing out to the right, and then the two grey bits pointing down, and a tiny silver bit pointing up. So let's, oh wow, that is such a good push fit connection. So remembering the direction, I think I'm going to apply glue inside this part, and what I'm going to do is apply either side of this little, I don't know if you can see the line in there, you can't really see it so well now that I've put glue in, but there we go. So, and if you don't get it exactly in, just rotate it a little bit and it will soon find its way in. There we go, so that's that piece in. And then stage 7, we're going to start using some of these beautiful copper pipes. So we have 4 copper pipes, and for stage 8 we're looking for a small black piece. So there is the small black piece, and I can see that the black piece wants to be on the right hand side, and this is going to fit into these 2 holes there next to the tank that's strapped in. On the back there you've got 2 locating pins, and that will go in like so. So that looks like it's in correctly, so I'm happy with that. I've just decided I'm going to use tweezers because that's the main part I'm going to focus on. So cocktail stick, one there, one there. Now there's a little bit too much glue there, my bad, but it is going to be hidden up by the part. So I don't like making mistakes, but they happen to all of us from time to time. And there we go, that piece goes in. So we need to be aware that the copper pipe, which is actually a rubbery substance, is not attached, so that's going to be free to move around. So obviously if you catch that, you have the potential to rip it off. So the next piece that we want is 17/8. Now that is a long copper pipe with a red part on it. That looks like a handle to me, and I don't know if that is the correct piece. I think that's the wrong piece, so let me just check the stages. 17.5. Yes, okay, so that was the wrong piece. It's actually this non-copper pipe with a black bit and a red part. So yeah, I'm getting in a muddle. The picture actually shows the copper pipe from the previous step. Right, so what we're going to be doing, this actually ends with 2 tabs, and those 2 tabs are going to go into there, and this red part of the pipe is going to go straight downwards, and that will end up going in like that, and it actually goes over the copper pipe, not under. So, and it does clearly state that in the magazine. So there's the dry fit complete. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this out, and I think we can get away with just dabbing those tabs into my glue, or not. And so remembering that this goes over the copper pipe, there we go. Oh, there we go, that is definitely in place now. It kind of clicked into place. So I'll give that a couple of seconds, and that's gonna stick, but it's not there yet. Yeah, that will stick, that's okay. So that's stage 8 complete. So bear with me, I need to turn the page. So stage 9 is next, and we need part 17.7, and that is the longer copper pipe with the red handle. So I'm just thinking, right, I can see a hole in the middle there, and it looks like it's going to go there, so I can see a hole there. So let's why is this so difficult to put in? It's because of the way I've got it with the tweezers. So right, so where are the copper pipes going? So take the pipe 17.7 and check how it fits above the tank. The black housing with the red lever fits into a peg on part E from the frame. Okay. Note that one end of the pipe is positioned close to the assembly 17.1a when you're happy with the fit glue in place. So looking at, see the completed image, it is so much going on, so it's actually rather hard to see, but I think that's meant to go closer to there, like that. And then this pipe is going to come just above there. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to glue this in, but pushing it anti-clockwise as much as we can, so that this pipe is actually touching the surface, but there will be a box going in there later. So this is not as clear as I would like it, but part of me is actually saying, don't glue this, Penny, don't glue it, because if you make a mistake you can't unglue it. So, and this is actually really difficult to get in the hole. So that's the way I'm going to glue it. I think that's okay. I think that's spot on. So the next stage is stage 11, and we want 1709, and that's a copper pipe with a silver, let's call it a bell. It looks like there's kind of a bell there. Now that has two small locating tabs, and that needs to go, I thought I'd lost that then. So this needs to go, by the looks of things, into the framework connector. Fit the pipe 79 in place. It runs close to pipe 17.7, which is this one, so that the two pegs on the white pipe connector fit into the corresponding holes in the framework connector. Now it looks like we're going to put them into the second and the third hole, but if you look at the close-up, when fitted, it actually looks like there's two holes exposed. So looking at the finished, I think that's how it goes, because then you've got those two holes there are visible. But if you look at the actual instruction, it looks like it's actually going to go there. So interpret that however you wish. Usually when there's two connectors and there's two arrows, it's actually pointing to where the connectors will go. So, but it does also look like both of these pipes are actually going to exit from that hole there. So if I have this higher, I'm then going to need to just fiddle with these. Well, that's not going to fit, is it? That's not going to be long enough. But that one, we can still get the two pipes together like so, but it's not going to be long enough. So unless I fitted that wrong, which I don't think I did because there's no other way to fit it. So looking at this end, I think that's too high up. I think it actually goes there, and the reason I think it goes lower is because A, these two pipes will end up together. You see there, they're together, but if you also look at the finished, if you look at the end where it says completed, only one of those holes is visible, and this copper pipe actually runs below this line there. One runs above it, one runs below it. So I'm actually going to go for the lower of the two positions by studying the diagram. Oh, I almost lost that again. Oh, that's frustrating, isn't it? So I'm going to apply glue just onto the pegs because these pegs are tiny. So if we put a minimal amount of glue, it's still going to be a lot. So I'm going to have to use tweezers, whether I want to or not. I don't want to because they keep springing up. There we go, that's in. Right, so I am very happy with that. I may just put a dollop of glue, tiniest amount of glue, on the end of one of those copper pipes, just so that they come together. You see it's trying to spring up. So yeah, that doesn't, it's as though this is the wrong angle. This I think is meant to come more this way, but this piece there is meant to go straight across, and that one is up a bit. So right, I'll have a look at that. But I think those pipes are okay. I may just glue these pipes just so that they stick together. So I think they are meant to be together, like so. Okay, so the next stage then is 17.6, which is this black box, and the orientation for that looks like it's going this way, with one coming out of the left, and that wants to be positioned there with, right, so those two pipes want to go pushed up against the wall, and one end, you see there's a hole there, one end wants to go in there and the rest of it wants to go onto the peg. So I'm ignoring the left for now. So this is going to be a bit tricky, but I think that's a bunch of 3 pipes, which is why there's a triangular hole there. So let's, oh dear, right, so let's pop in. I'm going to put my thumb there, I'm going to put a bit of glue on the peg. There we go, that's the glue on the peg. And then I'm going to pop a tiny dab of glue into that hole. That's where the copper pipe is going to go. So with my tweezers, I'm going to apply the pipe into the hole first, then I'm going to rotate it around and pop the rest of it onto the peg. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And that is the pipe work, and that is it for this issue. However, I just need to tidy these up. Do you know what? I'm not even going to tidy these up. I think that's fine. I think those are supposed to go into that hole there, but they're not going to reach, and I think I've done this correctly. There's only 2 positions this can be in, because it's a line with 2 holes. You can either put it in that way or that way. So if I rotate it another 90 degrees, this bit would actually be upright, which would be totally wrong. But I think this should actually be across a bit more. But it's not wrong. This is what's frustrating. So, but you can see they're not going to fit unless, I wonder if I'm able to stretch them a bit. Some of these we were able to stretch. No, they're not. See, they're not going to fit, are they? So I'm going to leave mine. I'm going to make them look presentable, but I'm really not going to worry. So there we go. There we go. I mean, it's a tremendous amount of detail there, and I'm really happy with that. So you've got some detail there. You've got the red handle, the black bits, the silver bits. Yep, I am more than happy with that. So that is the completed work. So I will bring up there what it should look like, and let me try and get the position for you. I think that's spot on. So that's it, guys. So that's issue 17 complete. Please don't forget to leave a comment. I haven't been putting the instructions up. In this particular stage, all the stages are the same in that you are gluing something to this wall. So there isn't really any variation. Did you miss the instructions? I think that these are going to work better without the instructions. So I'm probably not going to put instructions on. Should we say 3 or 4 videos with no instructions? We'll see how it goes, but obviously I do need to explain everything to you. So let's have a bit of a recap on what we've done. So we have this beautiful engine. I absolutely love this engine. So I'm guessing that's going to go in there somewhere, and that's going to go on the same, yes, that's going to go on the same side, isn't it? Or is it going to go opposite side? Yeah, that'll go opposite side. So yeah, there we go, guys. So there is a tremendous amount of detail. Could you ask for any more? So I'm going to leave the video there, guys, because it's gone for over half an hour, and that's without the instructions. So I hope you'll join me in the next video where I will be working on issue 18.